It's a beautiful morning and we are super excited to be here. Yes, it is Wednesday, the 6th day in the month of March 2024. Welcome. It is Sports Republic right here on VOP TV. What a beautiful time to be alive. Several sporting activities to serve you this morning. And I can tell you for free that it is going to be a swell time together with you. My name is David Edwin, and today, yes, we are serving you all that you need to know in the world of sports. That is why it is a Sports Republic. And of course, I'm not going to be alone today. Interestingly, Kizzy K is behind the scene, and we had to switch powers. You know, the powers that be would have to tell you, hey, we have to change powers. Right now, we have our man, none other than Jerry Apelohai. Very good morning to you, my brother.
Yeah, good morning, Kizzy. It's great to be here.
You just called me Kizzy. That's a good one.
I mean, I've gotten so used to Kizzy anyway.
Right.
It's great to be here on Sport Republic this morning, and of course, making the return after a while. It's quite interesting to be here.
Interesting, yeah. Let's get to it almost immediately. We'll start from the home front, where the Nigerian Premier Football League says Enugu Rangers didn't break any rule by fielding their general manager and CEO Amobi Ezeaku in a league match. Just as head coach Fidelis Ezeaku claimed Ezeaku deserved a place in the team for his commitment in training. Now, Ezeaku was introduced during the second half of their 2-0 win over Niger Tornadoes at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna last Sunday. Now, Chidebere Nwobodo and Godwin Abaje had given the 7-time champion a 2-goal advantage in the first half for their 5th win in a row and 5 consecutive clean sheets as well. Now, the 34-year-old his involvement was, however, met with mixed reactions by followers of the league, and of course, some eyebrows were raised about the intention of the administrator, who is also, commended, and of course, for blazing the trail. Now, head of competitions of the NPFL, Sunday Obaseki, confirmed that Ezeaku was registered during the mid-season transfer window and was eligible to feature for the Flying Antelopes. Now, Ezeaku was registered during the mid-season. Obiaku was quoted as saying, and of course, it's no more news that, Rangers International are they're free right now. What do you make of this?
You know, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Okay.
And in that sense, I don't know what the rule says about.
But the NPFL has come out and said that this is a rule. He was registered. I mean,
yeah, he was registered, but where is the document to show that he was registered?
Oh, now you want a document.
We all know how things run in this part of the world. So, for him coming to play in that game, I see it as just someone who's just want to be a part of everything.
Okay.
You know, it's just like having Roman Abramovich coming to play for Chelsea in a game in the league. You know, it's I've never seen such before. You know, it shows that the man is now making all the decisions, so the manager does not have a say. So because if you take a look at it, at 34, he should have clinched to being a footballer instead of being the CEO of the club side.
But let's also face it, right? It's a very interesting situation having to see him in his capacity also doubling up as a player. Some persons would say it's very weird. I mean,
what difference does it make in terms of being a player? If he wants to be a player, he should drop his position as a CEO and join up with the team. He's 34 years of age. If anything happens to him on the pitch, definitely will not be the same thing.
Oh, are you saying at 34 he still can't play active football?
No, we are talking about has he been training with the team regularly?
Oh, that part.
That's another question.
Okay.
Is it just because he wants to just be a part of it for, let me say, the entertainment's sake, not taking that as a serious business? I think he should stick with being the CEO and leave the football to the footballers.
Stick with being the CEO and leave football with the footballers that are paid to do that. Well, from Rangers, we go straight to Abia, where the Nigerian Premier Football League and NPFL, I beg your pardon, has granted Abia Warriors approval to play their home games at the Umuahia Township Stadium. Now, the NPFL Chief Operating Officer, Dennis Onwin, gave notice to the approval in a memo sent to the club. Now, the memo stated that the provisional clearance is subjected to periodic review during the ongoing league season. The NPFL also warned that the Umuahia-based club, that of course the present structural state of the stadium facilities cannot receive approval to host games in the NPFL next season. Now, Abia Warriors have been urged to carry out extensive improvement on all components of the stadium, ranging from the spectators' terraces, changing rooms, television camera stands, and the general outlook of the environment to be broadcast friendly. Now, the NPFL stressed that all the deficiencies highlighted must be taken seriously, as it forms an important part of the club licensing requirements for the new season. Now, this is quite interesting. If this is part of your yardstick to giving a license to a club, and then you are peddling down on your standards of giving a license, isn't that a question on the NPFL?
Yeah, the NPFL standards is shaky. It's not consistent. Depends on where it swings.
Okay.
And of course, the club, which side is involved.
Yeah.
And if you take a look at Abia Warriors, they are one of the coming and going several seasons as far as club sides participating in the NPFL is concerned. They've not been consistent. And with that being said, politics is just the name of the game. And under David Sewumi, we've seen a lot of policies brought in, and at some point in time, they want to change these policies to at least suit. Let's just say the truth. Abia Warriors is a club side run on state-owned money.
Okay.
It's a government-owned club. So it now depends on when the government is interested. If the governor who is in charge is interested in the club side, then he will feel the need to invest in having a state of the art facility in terms of matching what they need to have a good pitch. No, but as the case may be, let's take a look at the Abia State government right now. Do you think football is on top of the agenda?
Oh well,
definitely not.
I honestly think it is, because still in that same state,
Abia State is
Aimba.
In terms of infrastructure, Abia State is one of the worst.
Oh, of course.
Before
now.
In a state where the government is celebrating having eateries as one of its achievements.
That was before now. The present government.
Okay, yeah, the present of that.
Yes.
Power supply is coming on board.
It's really getting better, right?
But he has
let's also face it. Aimba is another yardstick to want to give some credit to the state government and their sponsorship as regarding football.
Has maintained consistency in terms of they already have a structure. You cannot compare that to Abia Warriors, who doesn't have a structure. And of course, giving them.
Would you want to say that they should just clap down the both clubs together and just have just a single club?
Yeah, they should do what Rivers State did. They merged Rivers United and Sharks to have one club. So I said that they can manage their talking about
fundings and all of that.
Yeah, manage the funds, and of course make sure that they have a reputable club. And Rivers United is doing well right now. The Confederations Cup. They won the league some seasons ago. Yeah. And things are going well in terms of football and even all other sports under Barrister Green, who is also making sure that things are done properly. If they do that, I think Abia Warriors should be merged. Okay. It's just a waste of funds if you ask me, but it is what it is.
Well, it is what it is, and that's coming from Jerry. Let's just move straight to, the national team, where Nigerian football must undergo a profound transformation to recapture its illustrious past, when the mention of the Super Eagles is still fearing numerous African teams. Now, who is saying this? Social activist Senator Shehu Sani, he's come out to say this. Now, while speaking to journalists, Shehu Sani expressed concerns that Nigerian football has deviated from its traditional style, spanning from 8th grade teams to the Super Eagles, primarily due to an extensive reliance on diaspora Nigerian players and those competing for foreign clubs. Commending President Bola Tinubu, recognizing and rewarding the Super Eagles players and officials for their silver medal achievement at the just concluded AFCON 2023, Senator Sani Shehu acknowledged the team's deserving nature of such honors. However, he criticized the proliferation of football academies in Nigeria, urging the Nigerian Football Federation to ensure that there are academies and that the academies are genuine institutions combining education with football, free from the corruption that has tainted fair selections for the national teams. Now, this is one too many. Coming to say that Nigeria has lost its past glory. Isn't that a statement somewhat of not defeated? Because, hey, an era has passed. There should be a new era.
Yeah, there should be a new era. The new era of where things are done the same way. You don't expect things to happen differently.
Exactly my point.
And in time past, let's go back to '94 when the Super Eagles won the Nations Cup. We were under a military regime.
Yes.
Where there was the willpower, the political will to make sure that the Super Eagles did well. And we had people running the NFF then who were either ex-military administrators or those who have the interest in sport.
Yeah.
And they were willing to do everything possible to make sure that the teams excel. They gave Westhoff a lot of time. He assembled a lot of players. He looked at the local league in bringing a lot of players because then we didn't have players who were playing abroad. You know. But now what we see, the last NFF General Assembly I attended in Lagos, I saw something that shows that where we are going to as far as football is concerned, we are still far, far behind. We politicize everything. In terms of who becomes the NFF president, who becomes the coach of the Super Eagles, who becomes the coach of the age-grade teams, even as far as selecting players. Take for instance the last Nations Cup, we took Ahmed Musa to the Nations Cup. What business does he have being a part of the Nations Cup?
I question that
someone
as well,
said,
really.
Someone said because they need him to at least show some bit of
mental experience.
So what's the job of the coach and all the technical staff of the team?
It's quite interesting.
You know, and you see there's a situation where they want to do a quota system. Take for instance, Salisu Yusuf is the coach of the under-23.
Yes.
This is someone who has been found wanting of feeding players after wanting to collect money. And this is someone who has never done well as far as coaching any of the national teams is concerned. But they keep recycling him. Ladan Boso is at the All-African Games, taking the under-20 Flying Eagles. He's someone who knows how to start well. He doesn't finish well.
We're going to move from Ladan
and
Boso.
So on and so on.
We're still going to stay with Ladan Boso because he has come out to say that Nigerian Flying Eagles will do the country proud. Well, Coach Ladan Boso leading to the under-20 national football team. African Games in Accra has expressed confidence in the Flying Eagles' potential to secure the podium finish in the men's footballing event. Now, Bosa affirmed the team's rigorous training and determination to make Nigeria proud at the 13th African Games. Now, I'm going to just stop there. Do you see the team doing well at the All-African Games in Ghana?
Yeah, I think for Ladan Boso, his own case, maybe some would say he's just an unlucky man. But when you keep trying and trying again and the same thing keeps happening, you know that this is not your field. You should stick with teaching coaches, for instance. You should stick with being the head of Coaches Association in Nigeria and so on and so forth. You should leave it for a younger... What the coaches he has been teaching, can't he at least recommend one to coach the under-20? Because he knows how to... For instance, he will do very well in the group stages. He will do well maybe in a round of 16. But when he gets to the quarterfinal, he will crash out. That has always been the style.
Isn't that something that has to do with his technical know-how? Does that question his
definitely a question
ability?
because when you keep doing the same thing and you're not doing anything different and he keeps giving you the same result, it shows that something is wrong.
And that should also, isn't that supposed also to now fall back to the handlers of the
that is the politics I'm saying, because there's a quota system that says that somebody from this region will have to get a better opportunity of being the coach of the under-20 or the Flying Eagles or the Super Eagles or so on and so forth. So that is why I even frown at the situation where we rely on local coaches, because at the end of the day, you need to be at the General Assembly. There's always a block of people who believe they own this country, who believe they have to decide who becomes the coach, who becomes the NFF president.
Now, I'm going to quickly put you on the spot. Do you advise Nigeria, particularly the national team now, the Super Eagles, to have a local coach as her coach?
No, local coach is not the answer. Let me tell you the truth. We'll just beat around the bush again and go back to the reality of going for a foreign coach. That's the truth. That's the truth, because take a look at the scene. I even heard the story. I saw a story where they said someone who is in the US who has coached amateur league and so on and so on is being talked about. Let me tell you, an agent is already pushing him. An agent is pushing him towards Gosso. And we know Gosso, for crying out loud, Gosso is a yes man. He has not done anything exceptional. He's just there answering the NFF president. Whatever anybody suggests, if it makes sense, he just sticks with it. Maybe that's why we respect Amaji Pinnick a little bit. But Amaji Pinnick is one of those people who killed age-grade football. during his term, we didn't enjoy anything as far as the age grade team is concerned. The under 17, the under 20, the under 23 could not go to the Olympics back to back. We remember even the Mikel team, they had to go to the Olympics at the dying minute. So a lot of things are going on wrong. So he's going to take a miracle.
Let's just move to the next story almost immediately, where Nigeria claims her first medal in the ongoing African Games. Now, Young Edem clinches Nigeria's inaugural medal at the 2023 African Games, securing a bronze in the women's table tennis single event, despite the challenging 4-0 loss in the semifinals to Egypt's Dina Mashrif. The seasoned table tennis star achievement marked her second consecutive bronze at the African Games. Now, expressing her joy, Edem credited the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation for her support and highlighting the positive impact of participating in the last World Cup. Well, interesting times for Nigerian athletes in Ghana at the All African Games. We're winning trophies. Well, the first medal going to the podium in the All African Games. Hopefully, we're going to be winning some of the as the games continue. We're going to go on a quick break. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to react there. Aruna Kodi just won the silver medal.
Oh yeah. So I saw that a bit in a couple of seconds ago.
It's good for table tennis, and of course for Edem Young, she's a quite interesting talent. Dina Meshref, I remember when I saw her, was it 2014 or 2018?
Yeah.
When she came to Nigeria, a very young lady, and she's still doing well. It shows that we're still far behind when it comes to Egypt as far as table tennis is concerned.
You don't want to.
One day we'll surpass.
You don't want to imagine the prowess of Haruna Kadri at this point.
Aruna Kodi did well too. Of course, the Egyptians also stopped him. Talking about Omar Asa. So,
yeah.
And it's pretty. It shows that Egypt has come to stay as far as table tennis is concerned.
All right. Well, from there on, we just have to take this quick break. When we return, we're diving into what they call the gentleman sports. I wonder what's gentle about boxing. We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. Let's just dive straight into it. We're talking boxing right about now, where Anthony Joshua has reaffirmed that he is highly anticipating the fight with Tyson Fury. Well, in his words, he said it's still in the works. The British boxer, Nigerian British boxer, is set to face former UFC star Francis Ngannou in Saudi Arabia, now revealed in some program that he was involved in. He said the venue for Fury's bout is yet to be finalized. Speaking about the bout, Joshua emphasizes inevitable, stating in his words, it's in the pipeline. It's been bubbling for a long time and it has had to happen. Despite not having specific details about the location and date, Joshua reassures fans, we are with you guys. We're talking about it. It is definitely going to happen sooner rather than later. Now, I'm going to just come to you almost immediately in 2 sentences. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Who do you think is going to take that?
Who's going to beat each other?
Who's going to defeat who?
Tyson Fury will murder Anthony Joshua in any fight.
So
as far as we are concerned now.
Wait.
Why I'm saying this is that the stock of Anthony Joshua has really depreciated.
Is it about stock? How about
stock meaning that
he's been winning games lately, right?
Value. Who did he beat last? He beat Otto Wallin. What is Otto Wallin as far as the biggest, as far as boxers is concerned, in the heavyweight category?
Wait.
The biggest in the heavyweight.
No. Jerry, I'm going to take you on this. You and I know.
Tyson Fury.
If you've lost your bout and then the rematch, it drops you down the pecking order, so you have to find your way back up. So finding your way back up is this defeat.
Mentally, even Tyson Fury has already defeated. Now he's trying to. He
stands no chance. That's what we're trying to say. He stands no chance.
As far as we
How about Ngannou?
Ngannou's fight is an arranged fight. Let me tell you this.
So what do you
Anthony Joshua is going to beat him by points.
Oh, really?
At the end of the day, the same way Tyson Fury's fight happened.
Wow.
That's how it's going to happen. Okay. Except something exceptional has been agreed. Let me tell you, this fight, boxing is a big thing.
Yes, it's a big business. Sure.
Anthony Joshua will not go into a fight he knows he's going to lose at this moment. knowing that he still has the eyes on returning back to big time against the likes of Tyson Fury.
Very true.
And of course, Ezeaku he lost against back to back.
Yeah.
So now he's waiting on the fight between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Whatever happens in that fight will determine what next for Anthony Joshua. He has to beat Ngannou, but I'm telling you, he has to be very careful, because if Ngannou floors him like the way he floored Tyson Fury before he won that fight, there's going to be questions asked about his capability to fight Tyson Fury.
Now, I'm gonna really put you on the spot. You just said if he's going to be flawed the way Ngannou floored Tyson Fury.
I'm not sure he's going to come back, because if you take a look at the way he floored
Tyson Fury, the bout between Tyson Fury and Ngannou, aside the result that was declared, who won that bout?
Yeah, I voted it's a politically arranged fight. Let's just say that fact. Okay. So it was going to be that Tyson Fury was going to win, whichever way.
I'm going to keep you there.
So forget about whatever Ngannou was going to do.
Ngannou
understands.
You just said it's going to be politically influenced, so let's just move on. Yeah. Let's come straight to tennis, where Simona Halep is set for her return after a doping ban was cut to 9 months. Now, the former Grand Slam champion was banned for 4 years in 2022, but can now return to the game immediately, having already been out for more than a year. Now, Simona had a 4-year doping ban that has been cut to 9 months by the top court of the global sports, now making the former world #1 eligible to return to the competition almost immediately. Of course, former Wimbledon and French Open champion Halep was initially banned for 4 years for 2 separate anti-doping rules violation, but the Lausanne-based Court of Arbitration for Sports ruled that the suspension should be reduced to 9 months, a period she has already served, and the CAS panel has unanimously determined that a 4-year period of ineligibility and is to be reduced to a period of ineligibility of 9 months starting on October the 7th, 2022, which period expired on July the 6th, 2023. Now, CAS, came out to say this on Tuesday. Now, that means that the 32-year-old Romanian is eligible to compete, and she could be granted a wild card in this year's French Open or the Wimbledon Open. Now, that is good news for Simona Halep. From there on, let's move to Formula One. Interesting times here. Formula One team boss urges Toto Wolff to hold off filling Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes seat. Now, former Haas Formula One team principal Gunther Steiner has advised Mercedes on the timing of their driver selection, since the team has an entire F1 season ahead to pick an ideal replacement for Lewis Hamilton. Now, the 7-time world champion sent shockwaves across the F1 community by announcing his decision to move to Ferrari next year. Now, as a result, Mercedes declared George Russell as the team's new lead driver. However, with 13 driver contracts expiring by the end of the 2024 season, Mercedes has plenty of time and choice in hand, which could also be perceived as a challenge among the numerous possibilities, with figures like Fernando Alonso from Aston Martin, Sergio Perez, Esteban Ocon, Mercedes F2 driver Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and several others to pick from. Now, Toto Wolff revealed recently that Mercedes won't be looking to fill Hamilton's seat in haste. Steiner has also now backed the claim, suggesting that, of course, he would also do the same if he was in Wolff's space, speaking to media. And that is interesting. Well, from then on, let's just move to the king of them all, and we'll be talking football. Now, straight up, we'll be going to the EPL, where Mikel Arteta has given updates on his player Martinelli's injury. Now, Mikel Arteta has given latest updates on Gabriel Martinelli, who went off injured in Arsenal's league game at Sheffield United. Now, Martinelli contributed to Arsenal's 6-0 victory at Bramall Lane by scoring the game's 3rd goal, as Arsenal maintained their place in the Premier League title race. Now, the 22-year-old scored his 8th goal of the season in all competitions by finding the net in the 15th minute, but would later subbed off amid concerns over his fitness. He emerged for the second half before being withdrawn as he limped towards the touchline with the help of the visitors' medical staff. Speaking on the injury, Arteta later revealed that the winger suffered a cut and was unable to continue in the match, sparking concerns among supporters ahead of an upcoming run of crucial games. Now, this seemed to be a problem. Something Arsenal is scared to repeat itself.
Yeah,
Last season, this was what almost, in fact, it cost them the title. It looks like it's happening again.
An injury to Martinelli does not change the fortunes of Arsenal.
Oh, really? You think so?
They have the likes of Trossard,
Okay.
who came from Brighton, who can also play from the flanks. So going forward, they still have what it takes.
Okay.
And let's not forget, Arsenal was struggling some seasons back when it comes to goalkeeping.
Yeah.
They've been able to sort that out defensive-wise. The likes of Gabriel.
You think they've sorted it out?
Yeah, Gabriel and Saliba are doing well. Let's take a look at the last 6 games.
Okay.
They've been having clean sheet back to back.
All right.
And it shows that.
But the question is, who did they play?
Who did they play? They're still top quality side. Whether you like it or not, Sheffield United gave Man United a run for their money at some point in time.
Oh, well.
And of course, the likes of West Ham, we all know what they did to United too.
Okay.
And some other various club side who they played, and they defeated them in fine fashion, 6-0, 4-0, and so on and so
Well,
forth.
if you're gonna come from that angle as a yardstick, Burnley, Sheffield United, West Ham, maybe not the toughest of the toughest teams to play presently, but the goal scoring for me is key. And Martinelli is another key player. So if you're saying it's not going to be a worry, then I'm beginning to ask.
Though definitely is also a key part of the team.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that if you take a look at Arsenal, they've been able to have a formidable team in terms of they now have depth, squad depth, unlike it used to be in time past.
Yeah.
They have Trossard, they have Bukayo Saka who can also score goals. Even Gabriel Jesus can also come from the bench and also get in goals.
I'm also going to ask you a very direct question. At this point, they're going to be facing a Porto side that knows well how to defend. Do you think they will continue their scoring prowess? Because let's not forget, before they were defeated in Portugal, they were also scoring goals. So do you think they're going to continue? And with this injury, do you think they're going to continue that?
Let's not forget, Martinelli is one man. And they are going to be having home advantage. They're playing at the Emirates Stadium.
Okay.
And the confidence of the team now is very high. Let's not forget the last game they lost was an away game. It's very difficult to go to Porto in the UEFA Champions League and defeat them. They're very, very formidable.
But it's still the UEFA Champions League. I mean,
yeah, it is the UEFA Champions League, but home advantage is a very, very key one when it comes to the UEFA Champions League.
All right.
So going into this one, they have a lot of players who can actually step up. Kai Havertz is doing well right now.
Yeah.
Banging in the goals. He can also come in and of course get in the goals.
We're going to talk about the resurgence of Kai Havertz in that team. It's really an impressive one for me, really.
Yeah.
But then let's just move on to another story. Well, of course, club transfers at this point, where Scottish Premiership club, I beg your pardon, Motherwell FC has announced the signing of Nigerian striker Moses Ibiye. Now, Ibiye, who left Norwegian outfit Alslong in January, penned a contract until 2025. The 26-year-old scored 19 goals in the Norwegian top flight. Interesting times. All right, at this point, I really would want us to really end this conversation and, of course, this show with the biggest of them all when it comes to football and, of course, football played across Europe. The UEFA Champions League happened yesterday, and some interesting results got us all in, well, some would say some predictable results, but football is just not so predicted as you would say. PSG, led by Kylian Mbappe, 2 goals, secured their spot in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals with a 2-1 win over Real Sociedad under the management of Luis Enrique. Now, PSG won the round of 16 tie 4-1 on aggregate, taking the lead in the 15th minute at the Raleigh Arena. Mbappe received a pass from Ousmane Dembele, making a run into the box and fired a calling effort into the far corner. Mikel Merino reduced the deficit a minute from time, and Super Eagles forward Omar Sadiq was an unused substitute in that Real Sociedad game. Well, that game, did you see Real Madrid moving to the quarterfinals?
Real Sociedad.
Real Sociedad, I beg your pardon. As against PSG.
It was going to be like the horse going through the eye of the needle. Because if you take a look at it, PSG, they are still a formidable side, whether they like it or not. Because if you take a look at the quality of the players they have in comparison to Real Sociedad, they are far ahead of them. They have Kylian Mbappe, who arguably is one of the best players on the planet at the moment.
Oh yeah.
And there was already an issue between him and the club side because he has decided that it's time for him to move. Even at some point in time, there was even talk about even the French Prime Minister is also being involved in trying to lure him again the second time to stay back in France. And I want to see how that goes. But for Kylian Mbappe, he proved that he's a top professional. Coming into that game, removing all the side talks and the distraction, getting the crucial goals.
I want to ask, what is it about Kylian Mbappe and PSG not wanting him to go?
Kylian Mbappe is the prince of France. Because he's the biggest player as far as French football is concerned.
Oh well, yeah.
And for the pride of France, they want the biggest export, the biggest player as far as France is concerned. And if one of the biggest players in the world to be playing in France, it's a thing of pride for them.
the player is saying, "I want to go."
Yeah, it's left for him to decide that he wants to go because he wants to play in a big club side like Real Madrid, who definitely we know is far bigger than PSG as far as trophies concerned.
Exactly.
As far as talking about credibility and of course the prowess as far as winning the UEFA Champions League is concerned.
Okay.
And he wants to stand a chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. And which club is going to offer you that? That is playing for Real Madrid. And if, for instance, his performances for PSG is be able to bring that to the table at Real Madrid, he doesn't need to add too much to win the Ballon d'Or. That is what he wants, and he should go because age is definitely not on his side. If he has 3 years to his age now, he'll be looking at 30 anytime. So
I'm going to put you on the spot. Maybe before the show ends, we're going to come back to this. If Kylian Mbappe moves to Real Madrid, do you see some kind of trouble for Carlo Ancelotti in that team?
No, definitely not. Because if you take a look at Kylian Mbappe, everybody says that he has an ego issue and so on.
Oh, yes.
And he's coming to the club side that has a lot of big players as well. And let's not forget, Vinicius Junior is doing well for himself.
Yep.
And of course, Carlo Ancelotti has won Champions League back-to-back, which Kylian Mbappe does not have in his trophy candidate. So when Ancelotti talks, he definitely has to listen. This is a man who has won it as a player and as a manager. We're not talking about Enrique, or we're not talking about Figasha, or
like I said before,
Mauricio Pochettino. We're talking about someone who has won it both as a player and even as a coach. So if Ancelotti talks, Mbappe has to listen.
All right. One fantastic thing about the man that we know, Ancelotti, is his man management, and we cannot rule that away. But then, before we go, you would have to also tell us, if he joins that team, what do you think would be the first 11 of Carlo Ancelotti? But let's move on from there. Let's talk about another game that did happen yesterday at the UEFA Champions League, where Harry Kane scored twice to guide Bayern Munich to a comfortable 3-1 win over Italy's Lazio. Now, the reigning Bundesliga champion advanced with a 3-1 aggregate score. Kane headed Bayern in front in the 38th minute, and Thomas Muller added the second in first half stoppage time. Kane tapped in the third in the 66th minute, and of course that helped Bayern Munich scale through from a 1-0 loss that they did lose to Lazio in Italy. And at this point, well, it's looking like there might just be a trophy for Harry Kane. What do you think of this? Harry Kane getting the goals, leading these guys to the quarterfinal.
Yeah, it's still pretty early. Let's not forget the draws will be coming up later this month.
Oh yes, it is.
And if they get to Real Madrid, well, we'll still be singing different song as far as if they are going to win the Champions League is concerned. Okay. And let's not forget, Thomas Tuchel took a Chelsea side nobody gave a chance to win the UEFA Champions League against Manchester City in the final. Yeah. So you want to give him a shouting chance of maybe taking Bayern all the way, but it's going to be a difficult one for a Bayern side that is struggling. Of course, they despite Lazio with so much ease. I saw the lives of the Rosani, fantastic performance from him, and of course the fact that Harry Kane was able to grind out those 2 goals from half chances, because the chances was, I think the first was more like a deflection, but he was able to put his head at the right time to get the first
Typical
one.
Harry Kane.
Yeah, and the second one, there was a confusion in the midst of that, whether using the left or the right. He used his right leg from a rebound after Leresani tried to convert, and got the 2 goals. So that is the stock of Harry Kane, top player, and of course 6 goals in 8 matches in the Champions League is quite commendable. So for Bayern Munich, I want to see how far they go, but we'll have to wait for the draws. Talking about, hope they don't play the likes of Real Madrid.
All right, let's look at the fixtures for today's games and the UEFA Champions League. Manchester City will be at the Etihad waiting for FC Copenhagen. that game, well, we'll see how that goes. Real Madrid also will be taking on RB Leipzig. Which of these games do you think is going to be a difficult one?
Yeah, for Real Madrid, Leipzig. So because of Leipzig's talking about participation in the Champions League back to back,
yes,
but they are going to the Bernabeu, and that is one ground a lot of clubs I dread as far as the UEFA Champions League is concerned. So Real Madrid, the typical Real Madrid would dispatch Leipzig in a very easy way. But so it's going to be a very interesting game. But at the end of the day, it's going to be one-sided. Real Madrid beating RB Leipzig at the end of the day. So for City game, the Etihad is also a very dreaded side. So FC Copenhagen has showed the stock they are made of in the first leg. So Guardiola will take them serious this time around. So it's going to be a very difficult one.
Okay, now let's look at it holistically. From all of these things that you've mentioned, great teams. Real Madrid, there's a PSG. Well, maybe they don't stand a chance. There is also a Bayern Munich. Maybe they don't stand a chance as well. There's also a Manchester City. Who do you think would win this year for Champions League?
It's Real Madrid and whoever is interested in winning it. That's it. It's Real Madrid and whoever is interested in who beats Real Madrid.
Oh wow.
That's who's going to win the Champions League. Yeah.
Okay. There is also going to be one game in the Europa League today, and that's between Sporting CP and Atalanta. This game, you think is going to be a difficult one for Atalanta?
Yeah, Atalanta is going away, and they lost their last game in the Italian Serie A, and they've been struggling. Okay. So playing the Sporting Lisbon side, who is on top form right now, it's going to be a difficult game for them. But I think Sporting Lisbon is going to pick this one.
Okay, now in 30 seconds, 1 minute, give us, if there's a Kylian Mbappe in that Real Madrid squad, your first 11 that you think Atalanta is going to do.
Mbappe and the rest because of time. Mbappe has to start, whether they like it or not. So he's going to play in the 9th position.
That's the size of the show this beautiful morning. Thank you so very much for being here, Jerry.
It's a pleasure.
All right, we got to go. Well, of course, you know how we do it. We definitely want to serve you better, and that's why we have to go at this point. But, of course, you can join the conversation online. We are on all platforms, social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. But, of course, on YouTube, we are, at VOP TV Live. And on all the social media platforms, we are at VOP TV. All right, that's the show this beautiful morning. Thank you so very much for being here. And like I always say, don't forget to always pray for Nigeria. There is no great nation like ours. Have an amazing day ahead. God bless Nigeria.